All right, what's up guys? Time to kick off the week strong. Hope everyone enjoyed a relatively nice Sunday. Thunderstorms early, but then a lot of sunshine, so hopefully you guys got some stuff done. So what we got to start off the week, we have for our warm-up, you're gonna do a 4-minute clock. You're gonna do 20 mountain climbers, followed by 10 plank half burpees, and then 5 single leg glute bridges on each side. So for the mountain climbers, knees to elbows, maintaining a high plank the whole time. When I'm done, my plank half burpee, I'm gonna go from this position to here and back. All right, so again, you never go below a plank and you never stand all the way up. So a really intense core and hip flexor warm up, as well as hitting those shoulders a little bit. Then 5 single leg glute bridges on each side. So down to the ground, drop that foot, keep this other foot low, and then squeeze the butt cheek, bring it up to full hip extension. After that, we're gonna finish it up. You guys are going to do 10 inchworms, and then you're gonna do 5 twisted cross on both sides, and then 5 iron cross on both sides. So let's work backwards on that because I have a dog laying on my chest. So for the iron cross, that one's going to be leg up in the air, and then come across the body and stretch out the lower back. And you're just gonna hold for a couple seconds and then switch. And then the other one is gonna be a twisted cross. So chest to the ground, leg coming up and across, stretching out that bicep a little bit. Same thing, 5 on each side. And then the last thing we're gonna do is 10 inchworms. So I'm gonna start from the bottom here, but you're gonna come down, drop the hips, stretch out the midline a little bit, and then we're gonna come up into a down dog, stretch the shoulders out a tad, and then walk the hands all the way back to the feet and stand. So that is your warm up. Now, for the workout, we got a doozy. So 20-minute EMOM. Basically how this is gonna work, you have a minute of rest, full rest, yay. And then you have 2 high heart rate stations, and you've got 1 kind of strength station. So you're going to do on minute 1, 12 power snatches, dumbbell, kettlebell, or barbell, it's up to you guys. On minute 2, you're gonna do 6 to 12 pull-ups or bent over rows. So again, if you're lucky enough to have access to a pull-up bar, you can do your pull-ups. Otherwise, you can do foot-assisted pull-ups or foot-assisted on the door. And then lastly, you've got your bent over row, so whichever one of those you choose. If you're gonna do the bent over rows though, you're gonna do 12 total, 6 per side. That next minute is max burpees. And then minute 4 is rest. So 20-minute EMOM, which is gonna mean 5 times through on that. Now, you have 2 scores today. Score number 1 is your load. So the weight that you use for the power snatch. If you're using a barbell, I would recommend something that you can touch and go for at least a couple reps at a time. You don't have to go all 12 in a row, but be able to do 3 to 4 reps, take a break, hit another 3 to 4. I would say the weight should be light to moderate. So again, this is really a choose your own adventure, but the goal with the power snatches is to be able to get them done with some rest time. So you're not working for a full minute. You're working for 40 seconds at most, maybe 45 seconds, but you've got at least a little bit of rest before you get into your pull-up or your row station. And then your other score is gonna be the total number of burpees that you accumulate across the workout. So the weight for the power snatches and the total number of burpees that you get. Now, as far as movement patterns go, a couple things, again, that we just wanna really harp on. So for the pull-up or for the bent over row, make sure that you can use a stationary object to support yourself, but keep your chest square. So when I'm going through the rows, I don't want to see my chest pointing off to the side. And again, best thing I can think of, your nipples have laser beams. So literally, I have 2 laser beams pointing straight out in front of me. When I'm doing my row, that laser beam should be right at the ground. I never want to see it off to the side in either direction throughout the row. I want them pointing straight at the ground, pulling in, touching the chest, back down, holding that shoulder position. So keep that in mind for your rows. For the power snatches, again, barbell or dumbbell, it's up to you guys. Most important thing is that if you're using a kettlebell or a dumbbell, you don't get lazy. It's really easy to lose your back positioning because you're trying to go quickly and you're not thinking about the right muscle groups. So when you're thinking about doing a snatch, you want to really feel that load in the butt cheeks and in the back of the legs. And the only way to feel that is by keeping my back flat. So if I lose that tension, I don't feel this at all in my back or in my legs or my glutes. I'm gonna feel it tomorrow morning in my back. So make sure that when you guys are coming down to the ground, you're really sinking back into those glutes, making sure that you're keeping the midline tight when you come off the ground, especially with a dumbbell or a kettlebell. If you're using a barbell, most important thing for today's workout is that you're returning the bar smoothly to the hip crease. So as a power snatch, I never press, so I make sure that I receive the bar down in a quarter squat. The arms are locked out overhead. Once I've locked out that rep, I want to keep the bar close on the way down. So what that's going to mean for me is I'm going to lean back a little bit. I'm going to break the elbow so that bar stays nice and close, and then boom, chase it right to my hip crease. That's going to make sure that the bar is nice and close on the way down, and I can easily load into my next rep. So again, on the way down, make sure that you're leaning and breaking at the arms first, and then catch to the hip, hips back for your next rep. Now, burpees, normal burpees, chest to the ground, full extension, all the good stuff. It's a minute of work. Work as hard as you dare. So again, this is a 20-minute workout. We're working essentially 3 minutes on, 1 minute off. So I wouldn't go too crazy on your first set of burpees, but hey, I'll leave it up to you guys. Now, for your accessory work today, we got three times through, 10 single arm rows. Again, just to help reset the body a little bit. To add a little bit of variation, add the towel format. So wrap a towel around the handle of your object, and it's going to be 10 single arm rows per side. So what we're really trying to do after a lot of high impact shoulder stuff, a lot of power snatches, some burpees, and then if you have pull-ups in there, we want to reset things a little bit. And that's why we're doing the rows single arm at a nice smooth pace after the workout. Other two exercises, 15 glute bridges. So for the glute bridge, we did single leg glute bridges during the warm up. We're going to do the 2-leg variation, part of the cool down. And I would like you guys to have two options. Either toss a band around your knees to engage those glutes a little bit more, or squeeze a med ball between your knees to help engage that pelvic floor and get a little bit more out of your midline. So again, either press the knees out into a band for a little bonus glute work, or press the knees together by squeezing a ball for a little bit of extra pelvic floor action. So either one of those, perfectly good options. Lastly, 15 overhead weighted sit-ups. A lot of people, I was told by some of the coaches, struggled with this movement last week. It is a very challenging exercise, so don't, it's hard. So it's okay that you struggle with it. But the overhead piece of it, you can just use a PVC pipe or use a broomstick. You don't have to use weight. We just want to really try and isolate the midline and also add a little bit of shoulder range of motion to it. So again, if I were to do this exercise with a broomstick, I'm going to go ahead, Michael does not like the broomstick. So legs are straight. I'm going to go ahead and assume a bench press position here. Hands are shoulder width apart. And then I'm going to sit up, punch the chest through, keep the object right overhead, and then I'm going to sit back down for my next rep. And even this is going to be challenging. Like, this is hard. Like, just doing it without weight, just doing an overhead variation makes the movement more challenging. So don't feel the need to actually add any kind of weight. We're just adding a challenging variation to it. And then our last thing we got for the day, we got a 1 minute karate chop stretch per side with a 1 minute couch stretch. So for the couch stretch, again, foot's going to go up on the top of the couch here. I'm going to drop my knee down onto a pad ideally. So again, ideally here, I would have my knee on a pillow. And then I'm going to keep that knee as close to the couch as possible. Bring the chest up nice and tall. Ooh, lose your balance a little bit. And again, try and squeeze this butt cheek to really open up the hip and get a good stretch out of the quad. 1 minute per side. And then you have a karate chop stretch. We're just trying to open up the lat a little bit in the upper back. So you can do this on the floor or you can do this up on a box. But we're just going to sink the hips back. Arms going to come out in front of the body, maybe slightly across. So I'm going to go this way so that I can hide from my talk. So you're going to go across the body, sink in, let that face relax to the ground. And I want to feel the stretch right through here. So in my lat and the outside of my body, and then a little bit in my subscap and the under part of my arm as well. So I'm going to hold here for 1 minute and then switch to the other side for a minute. That is your training for Monday. So enjoy, get a good start to the week. We will see you guys back tomorrow for Tuesday's training.